Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about the coordinate plane. So let's get started. This is a picture of the coordinate plane. It's also known as a coordinate grid or a graph. It's two-dimensional because it has both an x-axis and a y-axis. And it's in that way, it's made up using two number lines. So if you kind of look, at the x-axis, or this line that has the x on it. I'm trying to get my line here. This is a number line. So it has 0 in the middle, and then it has positive numbers going off to the right and negative numbers going off to the left. That's a regular old number line. And then the other line is going up and down, and the 0 is in the middle, and the negative numbers are down below, and the positive numbers are up on top. So the positive numbers are on the right side and on the top, and the negative numbers are on the left side and then down below. So we also, when talking about our coordinate plane, we talk about what are called quadrants. Now the word quadrant means that we're splitting it into 4 pieces. So we've got 4 different quadrants or 4 different sections on the coordinate plane, and I've labeled them here for you. Each quadrant is named with a Roman numeral, and these names of the quadrants always stay the same. So no matter what the problem is, quadrant 1 is always on the top right corner of the coordinate plane, quadrant 2 is on the top left, quadrant 3 is on the bottom left, and quadrant 4 is on the bottom right. Now notice that we use Roman numerals when naming our quadrants. So if you need a review of Roman numerals, I have it there. 1 is with an I, 2 is with 2 I's, 3 is with 3 I's, and 4 is with an I and then a V. Now, when you order the quadrants, just remember this. Quadrant 1 is in the top right corner, or the upper right corner, and then we go around counterclockwise to finish naming the quadrants. So that's how you will be identifying points in specific quadrants. So that's what I have here for us. So first we're going to look at A. A is in the top right section of the graph. So that is called quadrant 1. Now B is down below in the bottom left. So that is actually quadrant 3 because remember we start in quadrant 1 and go around counterclockwise when naming the quadrants. C is on the bottom right, which is called quadrant 4. And D is the last quadrant that we haven't listed. It's quadrant 2 because it's actually right to the left of quadrant 1. So that's quadrant 2 for point D. Now, we're going to be plotting some points, and the points are going to be called ordered pairs. The reason they're called ordered pairs is because they're made up of 2 numbers, and the numbers have to be put in a specific order, and that ordered pair will give us the location of a specific point on the coordinate plane. Remember that you have to write the numbers in the correct order. We always list x first and then y. So x is the first coordinate, y is the second coordinate, and together x and y make up a specific location on the graph. I have an example of a point here. -4 is the first number in the ordered pair, so it is the x-coordinate, while 2 is the second number, and so that's the y-coordinate. So if you look at the number lines that make up the coordinate plane, the x-axis is purple, and if we go to -4, that is where we will have for our x-coordinate. Y is 2, so we would go up 2. Now, as a reminder, it does matter which order you listed it. The point 2, comma, -4 would be a different point than the point -4, comma, 2, because it would tell us different directions on the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, so let's practice identifying the coordinates for each ordered pair. You notice that when we write our ordered pairs, we write them in parentheses. So for A, we would be going right 2 on the x-axis. So if you kind of look down, it's at 2 for the x-axis, and it's at 4 for the y-axis. So the x-coordinate is 2, the y-coordinate is 4. They both are positive because A is in quadrant 1. So there's our answer for A. So now take a look at B. B is in quadrant 3, and it is looking like it's at -2 on the x-axis, and then it's also at -2 on the y-axis. So that ends up being our point for B, or our ordered pair for B. Now let's take a look at C. I'd like you to think for a minute about C and about where you think the point might be. So pause the recording, and I want you to have a piece of paper out and write down what you think the answer is for C, what the ordered pair would be for C. Okay, hopefully you've paused the recording and now you're ready to check your answer. C is at 4, -3. So 4 is the x, -3 is the y. And if you're confused about the numbers because the numbers look a little off here, we're just counting straight down. So this is -1, -2, and -3. So we're just counting along the grid lines. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on D. I'd like you to pause the recording and try to write down on your paper what you think the answer is for the ordered pair for D. Okay, so hopefully you've paused and you're ready to check your answer. This ordered pair is at -6, 1. Now, look at your answer that you wrote down. Make sure that you included parentheses around the numbers and that you put a comma between the two numbers. So again, D is at -6, 1. If you don't write the parentheses, unfortunately, your answer is not correct. So make sure to always be putting your parentheses so that it's obvious that you're stating an ordered pair. Okay, so now we're going to take a moment to plot a few points, and this is the last segment of our recording today. So we're going to plot the point -2, 1. So I'm going to make this a little bigger. X-axis is purple, y-axis is red. Remember that our points always have x first, y second. So x is going to be -2. So going -2, and then up 1 for the y. So our point for A ends up being right here. Now let's try B. Actually, for B, I would like you to try this one on your own for a second. So point to where you think on your screen B is going to end up. I'm going to give you a minute to think about it, and then I'm going to put the answer up. So I want your finger to be pointing to where the point is for B. Okay, we're going to check here. So your finger should be pointing right here. That is point B. 3 for x, -4 for y. If you count the down 4, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's point B. Now we're going to do point C, and I'd like you to do the same thing on this one. So take a minute, point to where you think it will be, but notice that the x value is 0. So Think about what that might mean. Okay, here we go. Check your answer. This point is at 0, 2. So the y value is 2. So it does have a y value. The x value is 0, so we don't really move left or right on the x-axis. And so that's why the point ends up being right on the y-axis. Okay, last one. It's 1, 0. So I want you to take your finger and point to where you think it's going to be on the screen. 1, 0. Now this one kind of switches a little bit. This one ends up being on the x-axis, so check your answer. This is D here. Our other one was C. The x is 1 this time. The y is 0. So if you were on the wrong axis, now we know that it ends up switching to the x-axis because the x is actually 1. All right. Well, great job with working through those problems, and I wanted to remind you that you guys are awesome, and thank you for watching the recording today. And this is the quiz. So I would like you to take a minute and open up a new message and answer these 5 questions in the message and send them to me to finish earning your points for this asynchronous session. And if you have any questions about our class, please feel free to send me a message or give me a call.